Welcome to another meeting of the Lorain County Commissioners, broadcast exclusively on your Lorain County Community College education station. The Lorain County Commissioners cordially invite you to see the meetings live and in person every Thursday morning. The meetings are located in the Lorain County Administration Building, located at 226 Middle Avenue in downtown Elyria. The meetings start at 9:30 a.m. on most weeks. Now, enjoy the meeting.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Oh, man. Another statement today. I'll start out the meeting, which comes from the movie Other People's Money. Danny DeVito's character makes a statement that I believe is appropriate for today. It's in regards with attorneys. Lawyers are like nuclear warheads. Everyone has to have one for security. It's when you use them that messes everything up. Madam Clerk.
The appointments for today at 10:30, there will be a final public hearing on the Straw Hag Ditch, Elyria, Amherst Township. 11:05, a continued hearing on the proposed annexation of 37.39 acres from Elyria Township to the city of Elyria for MR Properties. 11:10, continued hearing on the proposed annexation of 21.32 acres from Elyria Township to the city of Elyria Lake Avenue Properties. 11:15, the continued hearing on the proposed annexation of 30.37 acres from Elyria Township to the city of Elyria Church of the Open Door. And 11:20 is the continued hearing on the proposed annexation of 25.89 acres from Elyria Township to the city of Elyria, Forthover and Sons. Under resolutions, job and family bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Facey?
Aren't you going to ask Mrs. Facey?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Ms. Facey.
That's not job security, Teresa.
That's what you get for being absent last year.
I even wrote the V2 and I just... I'm sorry, Ms.
We're
Facey.
having fun this morning, right?
In the beginning.
Investments.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Facey?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Facey?
Aye.
Transfers.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Facey?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Advances.
So moved.
There was one
One.
for the bridge.
Yeah, okay. A second.
Discussion. Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Facey?
Aye.
Requisitions.
Also move with the exception of 790 and 791, both -02. I would like to hold for further information.
I'll second with those exceptions.
Further discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Facey?
I'm not accepting those, but I am making exceptions to 783 and 784 Clemens and Nelson's. I believe that those could be done in-house with our people.
Travel expenses.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Facey?
Aye.
Bills.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Facey?
Aye.
Ms.
Aye.
Blair? Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Authorize various personnel actions as indicated on the summary for employees within jurisdiction of Lorain County Commissioners.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion. Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Facey?
Aye.
Award contracts and issue notice to proceeds for the Lorain County Justice Center.
Let's see, last Friday we had I kind of took the liberty and moved that from not the last to the first, and I've asked the clerk to do the same again today. I'd like to have an executive session since one of the commissioners was not available at the last executive session that we had last Friday, if that would be appropriate, commissioners,
Are you so moving?
regarding the possible legal action. I'm so moved.
I'll second.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye. We're moving on the executive session.
Yes, that's it.
Madam Clerk, make note that it's for the specified purpose of potential litigation is allowed under the Sunshine Law, please.
I didn't say it that nice, but I said it. So. Okay, so can we do that now?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you read number 10 again?
Award contracts and issue notice to proceed letters for Lorain County Justice Center.
I think it'd be best if we had the county administrator help us in awarding the bids today.
Thank you,
Mr. Cortez. The com.
Okay, I request a resolution contracting.
So moved. Do you want to give the amounts?
I can give the amounts. With alternates, it's $7,161,203.
And they are the lowest bidder.
That's correct, Commissioner.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
Yes. 20% of that contract's going to be local. That's $143,224. That's for, help me out, no, not one, it's $1,400,000, that's what it is. And 40. Mr. Cortez, could you expand on that a little bit, on how that operates at 20%?
20% of the materials or tools, whatever's necessary to complete the job will have to be procured locally. It is my understanding that all the labor is going to be provided locally under these contractors when I was talking to the trades folks.
Okay. So all labor will be local, hopefully?
Pretty much. I'm pretty certain. Well, I won't say all, but there's probably going to be supervisors and stuff from out of the county. But
A majority?
But the trades, the majority of the tradespeople will be from here.
Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
I request a resolution to issue a notice to proceed to GQ Contracting.
So moved.
Oh, we did, oh, okay.
You didn't
Proceed.
make that part of it.
No, we need individual resolutions.
So
for
moved.
that.
Second.
Discussion? Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Put it in the same resolution. Put it in the same resolution, can't you?
That's the second resolution.
Okay. Sorry.
Request a resolution approving bid 14A, traction elevators. The apparent low bidder is Cone at $1,332,576.
Also move.
Second.
Discussion? Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Request a resolution on a notice to proceed to Cone.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Request a resolution to approve bid package 15A, HVAC, parent low bidder T.H. Martin Duck for $3,981,000. That includes alternates.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I do
Yes.
have one question.
Go ahead.
Who are they using mechanical? Who are they using for the mechanical? Do you know? Jim?
No, I don't either, Commissioner. I believe, Mr. Drugala?
I'm not sure I understand. They are the mechanical contractor. That's what HVAC is. They are the mechanical contractor. Who uses it for local?
Yeah.
There's a 15% local match, which is $597,150. Can you get to the podium, please?
Mr. Sosnowski may. He reviewed the bids also. I didn't mean to call Mr. Drugala.
Because they had within
worked
24
together.
hours to announce who their local
They have to
participant.
come up with their plan. I don't have that information in front of me. They were in compliance with the 50%.
They were in compliance?
Yes.
Okay. We just don't know who.
I can provide that information. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
All right.
Further discussion?
No.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Request a resolution for bid package 15B, plumbing, Apparent low bidder Gorman Lavelle for $1,199,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
No.
You need to
Yes.
proceed also?
Yes, I need to back up. Madam Clerk, did I ask for a notice to proceed on the HVAC?
No.
So let me back up for a moment. I request a notice to proceed for the HVAC contract to T.H. Martin Duct.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Request a notice to proceed for package 15B plumbing and Gorman Lavelle.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
No.
Request a resolution to approve bid package 15C fire protection, apparent low bidder SA Communal, excuse me, for 600, Karen? Communal? Okay. $612,200.
Also moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
This is on Gorman Lavelle?
No, this is Fire Protection
Fire
Commissioner.
protection.
Oh, sorry.
Here we are.
S.A. Camille.
Aye.
Request a notice to proceed be issued.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Request a resolution approving bid package 16A electrical, apparent low bidder Superior Electric for $3,583,100.
Also moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
No.
Request a notice to proceed, bid package 16A electrical be issued to Superior Electric.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
No.
That concludes my request. There'll be other bid packages incrementally awarded over the next few weeks. Thank you, Commissioners.
Madam Clerk?
It is approximately 10:30 right now.
Before
The
she...
final public hearing on the straw hag ditch. Would you like to proceed with that?
Before we go, next Friday is our ground breaking. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, next Friday.
This is, it's,
Well, you don't want to remind me.
Sorry.
Okay, Mr. Cortez, since we have one or two people here in the audience, could you announce times and everything?
well, you know what, I'm going to defer to Ms. Davis, as she's been running point on this. So, Karen, why don't you come to the podium, and then you can quickly give a synopsis of what's going on. I thought Mr. Kish brought all these people.
Oh, don't get them started yet, okay? No, it's... Thanks, Jim. Karen?
Good morning. I guess briefly on the groundbreaking, it is Friday, May 3rd, 11:30 to 1:30. And we have a nice little agenda set up with a presentation of flags. We're going to have Elyria Catholic High School band there to play some patriotic type music for us. We'll have speakers, the 3 commissioners, 3 judges, sheriff, prosecutor, and our clerk of courts, Ron Napikowski. And briefly, after the ceremony, after we actually break ground, we'll have an opportunity for some photographs and some refreshments afterwards.
Karen, talking about the presentation of flags, we do have a county flag. We had, when we had our government day, we had a contest and a contest for someone to design a county flag for us, and we had little Betsy Ross that did design a county flag, and I think that would be appropriate. I don't believe we ever flew the flag out front here, but this might be a first for it, so that the public can see the flag that won the contest and is the county flag.
Sure, we'll give it a shot. I believe we'll have to get some kind of a flagpole for it. I don't
Yeah,
believe
I
it
think
has
so.
one. And I'll make arrangements with the deputies honor guard to see if we have a person that can do that for us.
Commissioner Vacy, as we go along, something to keep in mind, we're going to put a time capsule in the Justice Center. So we'll be able to, over the next year or two, start looking towards what we want to put into the time capsule and how we want to do that. So we can have a lot of input from the residents and the citizenry on what goes into that time capsule.
It might be good because we had the contest for the bird and the bug and the flag, and put the names on there who won the contest and designed those items for the county. That's a good idea, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions I can help you
And again, the time?
Would be 11:30 to 1:30.
And the public's invited?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody's invited. Of course, parking is always fun.
Yeah, Karen, let's talk a little bit to the parking issue. We will be running a shuttle, okay? So...
And if I can interrupt, Lorain
Please.
County Transit has graciously accepted the duties of transporting people from Washington Avenue and also the train depot lot to the Justice Center site. I think Debbie Moore's here, and she agreed to do that for us, which is really going to relieve our maintenance staff from doing it. We've also made arrangements to have some parking available at the site itself, just for the groundbreaking, the visitors for the groundbreaking.
Okay, good. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Karen.
We just don't want anybody not to come out because they're afraid of parking. We will provide plenty of parking.
Okay.
Would you like to do the public hearing now for Straw Hag Ditch? This is final public hearing.
This is now a public hearing? Should I just read this? Do you want to read this?
Do you want me to read it?
Should I
wanna
read
read
it? Okay, I guess I'm the president. It's part of the perks. I apologize if I'm running into words here. This is a public hearing now in effect regarding the Straw Hag Ditch final hearing, April 25th, 2002, 10:34 a.m. A viewing of the Straw Hag Ditch was held on April 23rd, 1995 at 10 a.m., and the first public hearing was held January 18th, 1996 at 11 a.m. pursuant to a petition filed with this office by the city of Elyria, Ohio, for the proposed cleaning of the Straw Hag Ditch and its laterals. At the conclusion of the public hearing, resolution number 96-59, adopted January 18th, 1996, instructed the county engineer to provide the necessary survey, plans for the structures, maps showing the location of the land proposed to be assessed, and profiles showing the cuttings, gradient of the improvement, and make an estimate of the cost of the construction of said improvement. The county engineer, by letter dated February 26, 1997, indicated that after survey work was completed, the outlet of the Straw Hag Ditch petition project needed to be extended 1,800 feet north of SR 113. There are an additional 62 parcels in the additional watershed, approximate 35 owners, with 9 parcels abutting the additional section of ditch. After studying the project further, it appears that a detention basin is going to be needed as part of the project in the area south of Lowell Street. The purpose of today's final hearing is to amend the original petition. The engineer has not been able to locate any sites for detention. The city of Elyria has indicated they will require additional detention on any new areas that develop that drain into this ditch. Therefore, it is recommended that Straw Hag Ditch be cleaned, replaced, or lower the culvert under Murray Ridge Road and install a head wall on the south side of the brick sewer under Lowell Street. I believe Mr. Hamilton, are you here?
Yes.
There you go. Would you like to speak on this matter? Okay.
Yeah, I'm John Hamilton, Assistant County Engineer, and as you can tell by the dates, we've been working on this project for quite a while. We finally got word in December from Church of the Open Door that the area we were requesting for detention was too large. They didn't want to give up that much property, so they wanted to go along with just the ditch cleaning, head wall, lowering the culvert under Murray Ridge Road. We came up with an estimated cost of about $186,000 to just clean the ditch, build the head wall, lower the culvert. There's about 896 acres in a watershed, with 518 being inside the city, 378 being in the county. The original petition from the city, they offered to pay the assessments for the people inside the city. Tuesday night, well, in the meantime, the county put up the $500,000 for the drainage fund with the stipulation that they be group project agreements. This Board of Supervisors adopted stipulation that they be group project agreements where the owners go along with cleaning voluntarily, and they put it under maintenance after the cleaning. So Tuesday night I went over to the Board of Supervisors meeting, explained the project to them, and since this was a petition job, by their regulations they can offer 50% of the cost of the project. So the $186,000, $90,000 would come from the county ditch fund. That would leave $93,000 to be assessed to the county and the city properties. Now, the city has indicated that they're a little reluctant to pay the assessments inside the city at this point in time. The agreement they made was 1995. So the alternatives that we've come up with are proceed with the project with $93,000 being assessed to the property owners, dismiss the petition, or the petition could be dismissed, the project could be turned into a group agreement among the neighbors if they all voluntarily go along with it. And at that point, the drainage fund would pick up the entire cost. I discussed it with Board of Supervisors and John Hart from the city of Elyria, and he's indicating that they would like to withdraw the petition and proceed with the group agreement with the understanding that the project has to be placed under maintenance after construction. The project would probably be shortened to just the things that really need to be done. The 36-inch sewer under Lowell Street is collapsing on itself on the south end. So that really needs to have a head wall placed on it and insurance that the pipe remains open. We first went out to do the survey work. We took a backhoe out and excavated it out, and it drained water for the first time in quite a while. And then the pipe under Murray Ridge Road should be lowered. It's not absolutely necessary, but it should be. So if we could get the owners in that stretch from Church of the Open Door north to east of Murray Ridge Road to voluntarily go along with it, would be paid for by the ditch funds.
What do you mean voluntarily? How are they going to clean it?
Well, they'd have to sign a group agreement, voluntarily go along with the ditch cleaning, and then it would go through.
Do the ditch cleaning, not that they're going to be expected to do it.
No.
Okay, so you think that's where it's going to go then? Is that what you're, from talking to everybody? Have you talked to property owners at all?
Just a few of them. John Hart's here from the city of Elyria, and he indicated this morning that they're going to withdraw the petition and try to pursue the group agreement process.
Is there any property owners here today? Okay, I thought you guys were here for the Justice Center. Well, let me do this first, though. Mr. Hamilton had the first speak. Is that concludes your statements?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is there any representatives from the city of Elyria that would like to give comment? Anybody from the city of Elyria?
City engineer.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm John Hart, city engineer for the city of Elyria. And I concur with Mr. Hamilton's comments that we respectfully withdraw the petition and work with the county and on a cooperative basis to clean the ditch.
With this group agreement, would you need the permission of the property owners to get on their property? You'll have to go on their property to clean this ditch. You'll have to have consent from the property owners, correct?
I'd defer to Mr. Hamilton on that.
Yeah, there's a group agreement form that the property owners that directly abut the ditch have to sign in order to proceed with it, which allows the process to start, and we draw up the plans, which in this case we pretty much have done, and then it goes through the Board of Supervisors of Soil Conservation for bidding and hiring a contractor.
John, I have one more question while you're standing there. You're going to clean this section of ditch. What happens on the other side of where you're cleaning? Is that good yet, or are you going to bring a fast flow of water down someplace else and block a...
No, we'll make sure we stop at with any ditch system, there's flat sections or steep sections, and most ditches you could stop at different points along there and clean it out. It's just a matter of how much good you want to do. In this case, a lot of the trouble was south of Lowell Street. So the 36-inch brick sewer was collapsing on itself. That created a lot of the problem. There's a lot of silt in the ditch south of Lowell Street back towards storm sewer that comes out of Washington Village subdivision. So if we get a head wall on that sewer, get that opened up, dip the silt out back through Mr. Schuster's property and open that up, it's going to help that situation a lot. And the water's still going to be restricted to the 36-inch going north. Okay.
So we won't cause a problem on beyond where we're cleaning?
I don't think so, not unless if you enlarge that 36 to what it should be, you'd create a problem. But leaving that at 36, it's still restricted.
Mr. Chairman, does the group petition require 100% participation of the group, or is it by majority?
100% of the people that abut the ditch have to go along with it because there's no automatic easement like there is with a petition process. So we'd have to we'd go as far as we could with voluntary sign-up. And then when it goes on to maintenance afterwards, that requires a majority of the watershed, majority of everybody.
Okay. And did I understand you correctly? If we go through this process, there is no cost for the cleaning of the ditch. The only cost to the property owners would be to sign up for retention, and that would be a small fee that's put on the tax duplicate?
Right. Maintenance is usually 5% of the construction cost. Soil Conservation Service Board has adopted a $3 per acre maximum for over 10 acres and $30 up to 10 acres maximum.
That's annually, right?
It's annually, and it comes on and off the taxes as the money's spent. If we mow it and spray it and the ditch is in pretty good shape, it's walked every year and inspected, and we can take that fee off for a year. So the fee can only build up to 20% of the original construction.
And that's on the volunteer, correct?
Right.
The other one you were talking about earlier is going to cost the homeowners $93,000? Is that what
Right.
you're... Okay.
That would have continual maintenance also.
But then would that also be the annual fee too then?
Would be 5% of the $186,000 would be the annual fee, the maintenance fee.
Okay.
So for the property owners, this appears to be a better way to go with the group agreement. And is that correct, John?
Sure is.
Okay, and the group agreement is viable because the commissioners allocated significant dollars to this a couple years ago, like $500,000.
That's correct.
So it's a program that we started a couple of years ago to help the Soil and Water Conservation begin cleaning ditches that hadn't been cleaned in a long time. Am I correct?
Right.
Then I have one other question. Mr. Moore read that it is recommended that the ditch be cleaned, lower the culvert under Murray Ridge and also install a head wall on the south side of the brick sewer under Lowell Street. Who will take care of those two functions, and how will that be paid for?
The head wall would be part of the ditch cleaning project. Lowering the culvert could be if the Board of Supervisors approves it, but we'll also work with Elyria Township on lowering that too. There's the properties either side of Murray Ridge, or they have evergreen trees. They're real nice properties, grass, lawn areas. So we're going to have to work with those neighbors too to even see if they'll voluntarily go along with it. And if they won't go along with it, we could stop south of there and not lower that culvert. But the grade at the railroad and the grade at Murray Ridge are such that there's very little fall between them. So it would be a very flat section of ditch.
I think that there are a couple questions in the audience before the chairman turns that over. I'd just like to say that I think, and I know Mary Jo and I walked this ditch in 1995. It's been a long time we've been working on this project, and I think the intent is good. If we can work with you to do it to the best advantage of the property owners, I think that's what you're saying to us today. But there may be some questions in the audience from people who don't understand exactly what he's proposing.
Correct, but before we go there, you're talking about the one property owner. You had the one option, which is if he doesn't volunteer it, you're kind of vague on the second, your backup plan. I don't understand your backup.
We would stop just south of there from Lowell Street to the railroad's on a real steep grade, and then it flattens out from the railroad to Murray Ridge.
Okay.
Now, there's enough grade there where we could stop short of that area at Murray Ridge.
Okay.
But it would create better flow and better drainage if we went past Murray Ridge and lowered that
Oh,
culvert.
I know, I just want to make sure that it's not a forced, if we make a decision, then we're forcing somebody to do something that we don't know if they want or not.
No.
As long as I know that there's a backup plan, if you don't have the volunteer, then you
Yeah.
do have a plan that's acceptable.
Yeah, we'll approach the property owners
Right.
and voluntarily until we run into a couple that say no, and then we'd have to stop.
Okay.
And one other question about the detention basin. It's not clear. You haven't found a place for a detention basin now. Can you do what you're proposing without a detention basin?
Yes.
Okay, but for future usage, you need a detention basin?
Well, what we're going to do, hopefully, is widen the ditch a little further, allow the ditch to detain some water. And also, John has indicated that as the area develops in the future, they'll require additional detention over and above their normal requirement to hold some additional water back.
But the statement that the engineer has not been able to locate any, so you're saying you're fine with that statement?
We approached Open Door. They were Church of the Open Door because they had vacant land on the west side. We surveyed it all out, drew it up, and it was just too large an area that they didn't want to commit that much land
Okay.
to.
Okay.
So we really can't find a place where we can locate one.
Well, the Church of the Open Door has an annexation request before the Board of Commissioners. Perhaps they'd like to negotiate a little bit with Mr. Ennis, since he's done so well in negotiating other things recently.
Well, it's a pretty large area of land, and I can really understand why they turned it down.
Well, is there a possibility that you could do a smaller detention there and then someplace else so that it might be suitable for their purposes and what we need to?
Yeah, what might work best is as the area develops, they've got to go to John for their improvements, is to do the detention at that time.
Right, that makes sense.
The land on the east side is up for development. That could be built into the construction plans to have detention. Church of the Open Door may develop. It would be built into their plans to have detention.
You could have detention in a couple different places.
Right.
Okay, is that enough? Or do you have any other questions, Commissioner?
I don't at this time.
Okay. Any property owners, do you have any comments or statements? Please come to the podium, state your name and your address.
Good morning. My name's Ed Pavlish, and I live at 7870 North Murray Ridge in Elyria Township, and I am next to that culvert on Murray Ridge. And I've been there since 1969, and we have a beautiful, trees now, like that he mentioned, for evergreen trees and everything else like that. But since 1969, there has never been a problem with this ditch. And believe me, now, just the last bad amount of rain we had, I went out there and checked it many times myself because I take a walk all the time. I'm retired, and I have a wife had a stroke, and so I'm a caretaker too, so I'm right there. But we have never had no problem with it, and even when they put that road in, the drainage from the ponds come into our creek, but it still don't have no effect as far as can't have no go flow in there. It's a good flow, because we even dig on a side one time. We cleared it out. And then you're more than welcome, Miss Vassie, Mrs. Blair, to come again to my place and take a look, because I'll be glad to entertain you, to show you everything that's going on. But there's no need, really, to monkey with that culvert, that 36-inch. It's going to just cost a lot of money to somebody for no use. Because right now, there is no problem at all, really, with that ditch. And I own 600 feet of that ditch. It's 400 deep and 200 across in the back. And I'm retired and everything, and I don't have the expense to be able to be paying for this and everything, and then the maintenance will come on top of this for every year. I say that the people that it's only going to benefit, really, is Elyria and any landowners that want to make developments over there, for they can use that ditch for drainage. But I mean, if they're going to only go up to that ditch, and then they stop there, I don't see no reason at all that they're even going to touch the ditch. Like I say, anytime they have any floods, you're more than welcome to come out my place, all along my property. I got 600 feet of drainage I'd have to be paying for, and I can't afford it. But really, there's no need to disrupt the environment around there, because we have trees up, oak trees, elm trees, maple trees, everything that's been there for years. They're big trees and they're full of squirrels and everything like that, and there's no how would you say, settlement or nothing from the flow, because it's a steady flow through there. And really, I think if people take a look at that, right now I see they had something about, excuse me, I get a little excited, but I see they had on Delafield ditch. Now, they're going to assess those people for maintenance, like he said now, and that gentleman was out to my property a few times. They did some cutting of the trees down, I mean, little hedges and stuff like that, but they never touched the inside of that ditch because there's no need for it. And when they build that lake across, you know, that pond for the dirt, for the road to go, Murray Ridge Road, I mean, 113 road to go across the railroad tracks, that drains over there now, but they took a lot of big concrete slabs and they put it in a creek for it won't wash away nothing. So the bottom of that creek actually has big slabs of concrete in it already on a corner. I don't know if they're aware of it, but truthfully, there is no need to touch that ditch, even the culvert. If they want to do anything with it, put rails up there for nobody will go into the ditch. But right now, there is really no need, and all it's going to be is the expense for us. And like I said, I've been there for a long time. I'm retired. I don't have the expense no more to be putting out something I need. That I actually spend a lot of money doing the ditch for it looks the way it does. So I'm asking you please to consider, why should we have something done that don't need to be done, and why force it on us? Because we're content the way it is now, and every one of my neighbors will tell you this. So the only one that's going to benefit, like I say, is the big property owners that want to sell lots and stuff for housing. They're the ones that need the flow, I guess. But right now, we don't need the flow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, back in 1995, when this was petitioned for, what was the reasoning behind it at that time, John?
City petition.
The city of Elyria petitioned for it, and I think the main reason was they had a lot of flooding in the Washington Village area at that time, and that storm sewer comes across and goes into a lateral of the Straw Hag and then heads east and north. And a lot of that was probably the collapsed brick sewer under Lowell Street.
Thank you.
I agree with Mr. Pavlish. His yard's beautiful. There's no doubt about that. Nice trees. But the culvert under Murray Ridge, I don't know when it was installed, but it's installed too high. And as the water comes under the railroad through a culvert, it tries to get around and through Murray Ridge, it doesn't get there. That's why the ditch flow is so nice through there. But at the railroad, the water gets high enough where it actually heads east and jumps watersheds. So that's the main reason. The ditch itself, for what water you get, handles it fine. And we'll be glad to meet with you there. This is, if it goes this way, it'll be voluntary, so we'd meet with Mr. Pavlish and look at it and discuss it.
I don't want no part of it.
I think, well, here, help me out here, John. So what's the issue we're looking at today that we're looking at? Because he had a point of do nothing. What's do nothing do?
Actually, City of Elyria withdrew their petition, so they're...
So now we're at, so if they were, we have to decide then whether or not to accept their withdrawal? Is that what?
To do the group agreement.
No. Well, I think if that's what, Jerry, is that what we're...
Well, they've basically withdrawn their petition, so, yeah, we just have a motion to dismiss the action. The group agreement will be something that if the residents along there decide to do that, then that'll go forward. If they don't, then we'll have to look at a different resolution.
Okay, so
but
basically...
As far as today's action, we're just basically, Elyria's withdrawing the petition,
okay.
So we then dismiss
So we're not forcing anybody to participate in anything?
No.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I have to leave.
Okay. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Yes, to leave. Is there anybody else?
Does anybody else like to make comments regarding this issue? Please come to the podium. And you can line up behind him because, no, please, if you have comments, line up behind this gentleman. State your name and the address.
My name is Lawrence Maiden, and I live at 7842 North Murray Ridge Road.
Okay.
I've got approximately 22 acres, and I guess I've got kind of some questions to clarify the information. That amount of $186,000. Is that cleaning of ditch only and the Lowell Street culvert repair, or is that also for the cost of detention basins to be dug? Or is that detention basin, is that totally withdrawn now as far as, are they going to go with detention or retention of water or whatever?
That's what I was trying to find out.
I'm kind of, everybody's kind of, it's kind of unclear as to
Here, let
what
me
it's
have,
for.
Mr. Ennis, could you
Maybe
explain?
Mr. Hamilton.
Well, there was a certain petition that was put before the commissioners today to do, for the commissioners to do some action. The city of Elyria is withdrawing that request, so the action before the commissioners will be to dismiss that petition, and they won't take any formal action today, okay? This is going to be dismissed. But Mr. Hamilton and Commissioner Blair were talking about, the commissioners a couple of years ago allocated some money to assist in the cleaning of ditches so that at least the cleaning and what Mr. Hamilton indicated about constructing this head wall can be paid for by the commissioners at virtually no cost to the landowners, but only if there's a unanimous agreement by the landowners. So what he's telling you is his department and the Soil and Conservation Department of the county will be coming out to contact the landowners and see if you want to participate and in essence access the county's money in paying for it, but they can only do that if everybody agrees. Now, if that happens, there will be this maintenance assessment that continues on a yearly basis, and I understand that gentleman's concern, but it's an opportunity to get the construction done for free,
to get
right?
it done, right. I agree with that. I think it probably should
But that will be what he's just kind of announcing to you publicly, that they're going to be coming to you and approaching you and seeing if you're, the county's offering you the money. It's not being forced on the landowners, but it's a chance, you know, if you leave this, the problem we have is that these ditches have gone on year after year after year without being cleaned, and maybe they're not a problem now, but there's a chance to get it done real cheap, is what we're saying.
Right.
But it's up to the landowners whether they want to do it.
Is it up to the landowners that are, actually my property doesn't touch the ditch, although I do have, I think probably there's two, there's two 1 foot in diameter pipes coming from my property underneath the highway into the ditch, and then there's another maybe 4 footer going underneath the highway into the ditch. I was just wondering what, he mentioned something about $3 per acre or $30 per acre for under 10 acres and so forth. Is it up to the people whose property that ditch runs through to agree on this, or is it up to a vote on all of us that benefit from it? That's another thing that I don't quite understand. I guess it's up to it must be up to the people whose property it runs through, or that touch that ditch. Is that right?
Yeah, I think John could answer that.
Yeah, it would be a unanimous agreement of the people that the ditch runs through.
Okay.
We have no ability to have a forced easement, so it would have to be unanimous approval from the people. And then at the end, it would have to be a majority of the people that drain through that ditch would have to approve the maintenance, because there would be another hearing down here in order to put it under maintenance.
So first we have to get the people's permission that it cuts through. Then we have to take a vote on whether or not we do it.
Correct.
So forth. Okay. I guess that answers a lot.
Okay. This is the beginning of a lot of discussions, I think. So, thank you, sir.
My name is Ernie Cato. I live at 176 Valley Forge Circle. I live in a house there, and then I own another property in Washington Village. Basically, my purpose for coming today was to kind of find out exactly why I received the letters, if you will, with regard to Straw Hag Ditch. And I've learned a long time ago not to assume anything, so that's why I want to ask the questions, basically. Assumptions, well, you know what assumptions do. But at any rate, in the past probably 5 years, I've had to replace the carpeting in my house twice. Sewer backup, water backup, and I live in a split-level home. So it was, as I said, I had to replace it on 2 different occasions. And the question I have, I guess, is exactly what effect does this whole area, the Straw Hag Ditch and all, what effect does that have on Washington Village? I think I heard something that there's a problem with the flooding and so forth in times past was associated with that, and that's what I want to be clarified on. The other thing I want to be clarified on is what has been done, or is there something that has been done? I'm making an assumption. I think I heard that there's something that has been done to relieve that problem, and if not, what's going to be done to relieve it? Yes.
Washington Village subdivision's at the upper end of the system and goes through a set of storm sewers and down Fowl Road, and then comes into open ditch across the street from where Convenient Food Mart is. And then it drains easterly and northerly and goes through the 36-inch brick sewer that's there. And I can't talk about the storm sewer system in Washington Village itself, but opening that ditch up, cleaning it out, ensuring that that brick sewer is open even though it is too small, will assist the Washington Village area.
Okay, does that answer your question?
Yeah, and I'm not the only property owner that's happened to either. Several others have had the same problem. That's the occurrence.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cato. Okay. Sir?
I'm Russ Stanislawski, 7807 North Murray Ridge. I have approximately 11.5 acres down the road. Half that acreage drains towards Murray Ridge, the other half drains towards West Ridge and goes nowhere. It has to evaporate. Now, am I going to be assessed for the total 11.5 acres when only half of it drains into it?
Right now, I don't think so. I think what's happening now is we're dismissing the petition. And then what's going to happen is the county, John's going to be coming to your house and talking to you about the details of the cost and where the water will probably be flowing. Wouldn't you say? That's a fair statement?
Yeah. You're located north of 113?
North of 113 and about 3 properties this side of Clayona. One that's all vacant.
You have a lateral that goes back by the pond there?
No, there's a ditch about 4 foot deep that comes down the side of mine and drains across the road and then all the way down along the other property owners. Now, if that main ditch is cleaned out, will that lateral be cleaned out so it will drain into it?
Well, I was going to say, the main ditch at that point has good fall to it. It doesn't need to be cleaned, but we could work on that lateral if that's what you want. If you want that lateral cleaned out, we'll stop and see and talk to you about that.
The county cleaned out back to the corner of that field.
Right.
And there, no way.
So you'd like to look into cleaning it?
Yeah, because it backs up, I get about 50, 60 feet back up in my property there. And it runs right up even with the road.
We'll stop and see him about having a separate agreement on that, on the lateral.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
My name is Ed Schuster. I'm here on behalf of my parents on Murray Ridge Road. I'm here to speak the truth. I'm not here to point any fingers or anything, but I think there's some faults here that people are ignoring, and I'd like to try to see if we can get them straightened out as soon as we can, instead of waiting from 1995 for 7 years of passing the buck again. I can believe that the city would want to bail out on their problem, because when they started developing back there, we had no problems. We were, so to say, the last property on a ditch. And when they developed back there, I'd like to submit this picture to you here. For the last 15, 20 years, our fields have been like this probably 3 months out of the year. and I'm losing like $2,000 to $3,000 worth of crops every year. And if I could present this, please.
Sure.
This was taken in February, and it's still standing today.
Okay.
I'm not here to sell any property, to make money off the property. I'm here to farm it. The problem we're having is, I grew up on that ditch, and if you would, what John has talked about is that just south of 113, there's a siphon culvert, and what that means is it comes in, it goes down, and it flows about 50 feet, and it comes back up, and it goes out. And that slows the water down so it does not wash out down at the railroad tracks. That's its purpose. It is totally collapsed. If you would just dig that out and put a little retention basin there, or just a tile, because it's grown over with shrubs, and it's totally collapsed. And south of that, onto my property, there's 3 foot of sludge that you would walk in. You would not come out with your boots, and you'd be down into your waist. If that could get just properly cleaned out, fix the siphon right there, and do not add these taxes on to us, because the ditch has not been cleaned out in 60 years. And so I think we could go another 60 years without paying taxes on it. You're talking about this maintenance program. Nobody's ever maintained it before, so why should we start now just to pay taxes? I think if there's people there that have concerns, which are naturally going to be, so we're going to be throwing in for another 5 years. Mr. Hart says that he wants a retention basin and then a bigger one for the future. When is the future? Tomorrow? 50 years from now. We've been dealing with this since 1995 or before. And I think it's going on a little too far. And I'd like to see it cleaned out as soon as possible, please. And as Ernie had spoken, he's down there on that Eagle Circle where he does have the problems. And that is because that is backed up from that siphon ordeal all the way back there. You cannot push that water if it's plugged up. It's like a drain. It will not go anywhere. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Schuster. John, is this within the ditch, with that area? Can you at least...
Yeah, the group agreement deal will probably get this section cleaned faster than even going petitions.
And the reason why it hasn't been cleaned up to this point is?
The only way you can do it is by petition up to when the commissioners put the money into the drainage fund.
Okay,
and,
that's why I just wanted to get those questions answered.
Yeah, it's off-road drainage, and there was nobody set aside to maintain it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, sir?
My name is Jim Seaman. I manage Northern Ohio Industrial Park. We're east of Murray Ridge, and we have our own fall and our own drainage going to the Black River, a drain that was built there from GM. We just want to know how we were assessed, or how we go about showing that we have our own drainage and that we're not part of the assessment. I have topographical maps to show where our drainage goes, and it's nowhere near
part of that.
this ditch.
Petition is dismissed, so it's really...
Yeah, because that's what we have to decide, is to dismiss the petition.
I mean, they withdrew the petition, so... Right. But probably it just catches a corner of the property. It's not necessarily the whole property would have to drain towards you before you'd have gotten a letter. It could just be a little corner of the property somewhere up on Murray Ridge.
Actually, all our topographical sheds our direction on our own water. So
what's basically going to happen, if they do something, they're going to contact you personally and talk to you.
That's fine.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for attending. Yes, sir?
My name is William Fugab. I live at 159 Mount Vernon Court. Yeah. I have a question concerning this withdrawal of this petition. And is this in effect going to happen, and it will not be involving me at all?
I believe so.
Pardon?
I believe so. What we're doing is we're voting to withdraw the petition, and then what's going to happen is, is he in the same area, John? That you'll have to go talk to him? Or?
No, he's in Washington Village subdivision, so we won't have to talk to them at all. We'll be mostly Mr. Schuster's Church of the Open Door, the larger property owners that actually abut the ditch.
Okay. I don't know if I understand your question.
My question is, I got a notice.
Okay.
And I want to know if I'm going to be affected. If this is going to be withdrawn, then I'm not involved. Is that correct?
Correct. Correct.
And I would like to talk to Mr. John Hamilton in private concerning this, because I think there's been an error or something, because something I don't understand about this. And I don't think that it's should be part of this discussion.
Okay.
Thank you.
So can I ask John if he will make an appointment to see me?
Oh, John's pretty good at talking to people. He'd be happy to talk to you.
I'll give you my phone number.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else? I think we have one more.
William Fulton.
I'm Fred Epley. Of course, I live on the south end of Murray Ridge, 10266 Murray Ridge, but we own property downstream on the Straw Egg Ditch also. The comment that I have is I'm in disagreement with Mr. Pavlish, in agreement with Mr. Hamilton, that the water already is coming down so fast that it can't go north through this area north of the railroad tracks to Murray Ridge Road. That I don't know what percent, but probably half of it, instead of flowing on north down the ditch, flows east down the two railroad ditches to the city of Elyria. And sometimes it's so bad that the water can't get through the sluices underneath Murray Ridge Road, that on the south side, I've seen the south slope bed railroad tracks, which they tore up, stand in a lake of water, that the water is almost ready to run right across Murray Ridge Road. And this water should have been all flowing north down through Mr. Pavlich's property. And so definitely there's a dam, and to worry about bringing more water down is going to just increase the problem. This is swallowing probably nasty pills. Mr. Schuster presented the pictures there. You already got a retention basin. Maybe that is where the retention basin needs to go. But I think that this is the solving of the problem is building a retention basin up there, and so that the water can come down, that the water can keep flowing all the way through. But I'm afraid you increase the capacity up above, it's already overloaded down below, and if you don't solve the problem down below to Murray Ridge and on down further, it's the ones down below are really going to get flooded out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Epley, who's the former Carlisle Township trustee.
I might add also, one time that the water was in that condition, I brought John Hamilton out, and he'll testify that it's true, the condition of the water flowing there, that it going down the railroad ditches on both sides, flooding out downtown, down by the Farm Bureau.
Thank you,
sir.
Fred.
Bill Holtzman, Elyria Township trustee. I just wanted to state that we had used that group process to clean the ditch on Delfield Road, where we got all the property owners down at the Township Hall and we discussed the project, answered their questions. The Soil Conservation Service came out and did a preliminary survey. Then we met with the residents again, and pretty much after they understood what was going to happen, we got everyone signed up on that project and completed that project with the cooperation of Soil Conservation, the county engineer, at no cost to our residents, and when it was complete, the residents were pleased with the project. So I would suggest that we would try to get with the county engineer and have a meeting with all the property owners in the township to see what interest there is in a group agreement to do that. There is, like I said, a maintenance fee on that's required to access this money, but really it's a small amount of fee that we, once we explain all that to the property owners, they may be more receptive to that.
And it was a success when you had your public hearing and discussed with everybody.
Yeah.
It still is a success, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It was completed and everyone was, to my knowledge, pleased with the project.
Okay, great. Thank you for the comments. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, since the city of Elyria has requested that the petition be withdrawn, I believe it's just kind of, we don't have a great deal of discretion in that if they're withdrawing the petition.
No.
Is that, so we just have to move to approve with the drawing of the
Just
petition?
a motion to dismiss the...
Motion to accept their dismissal, or?
No, just a motion to dismiss the
Petition.
petition.
Also move that we dismiss the petition.
I'll second.
Okay.
I'll third.
Is this further discussion? Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
I would like to encourage, Mr. Chairman, if I
Go
might,
ahead.
I'd like to encourage those of you who are in attendance and who are interested in the cleaning of the ditch for whatever reason, and I think there are many, and I think that's why the commissioners allocated this dollar amount to Lorain County Soil and Water Conservation District, and they've worked very hard to use this money in various portions of Lorain County to clean ditches that haven't been cleaned. I heard some comment in how many years. And if ditches aren't cleaned, it causes problems for somebody, whether you're downstream or upstream or in the middle. So anyway, personally, thank you for coming today. I think this process started because there was a need to address some aspect of it, and I think that's why the engineer's office, both the county and then has worked with the city of Elyria, and we started this process. So I'm sure that Mr. Hamilton will be, and he has, worked with the Soil and Water Conservation District and their Board of Supervisors to jointly do these projects and to create detention where we can, so that when there's a lot of water at one time, it can have a place to go until it can move on down. And a couple years ago, I went to someplace, and they used playgrounds and baseball fields, I think it was in St. Louis, to detain water at high peak times. So there's a lot of creative ways that you can retain water, and that information has been shared with the engineer's office and with our community development department. So I think we'd like to continue to work with you on trying to resolve this issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, we have some annexation issues. I think we're behind on that. I'd like to, we'll start at 11:05. By the time I think we get to the 11:20, we'll just do them all. Is that okay with you?
The first one is the continued hearing on the proposed annexation of 37.39 acres from Elyria Township to the city of Elyria, which is MR Properties. Attorney John Keys Walker is the agent.
Okay. Jerry, do you have a comment?
We were going to discuss this for about 5 minutes before we...
Okay, why don't we do this? We've been going at it since 9:30. There's a 2-hour parking issue. Maybe people might want to move some of their cars. Who knows? I've played that game. You just move at one spot. You're good for another 2 hours. So.
Uh-oh, be careful. Be careful. That's not good advice.
Oh, it's not good. No, not on our side. I'm saying on the city streets. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to cost me another lawsuit. Why don't we do this? Let's just take a 5-minute break and we'll come right back, okay? Thank you.
Are we going into executive session?
No. We need a break first, okay? If you want to go into exec, that's later. What?
Do you want me to get somebody to do it?
What, pizza?
No.
How long do you think we'll be here?
A long time.
I'm not going to sit up here and eat pizza, everybody.
We're only on item number
9 or 10.
You ready?
Yep. Okay, we're back.
I'm sorry, on the agenda, there was one more annexation that was left out, and it was a public hearing today scheduled at 11 o'clock, which was for the 58.32 acres in Elyria Township to the city of Elyria. Attorney Garrett Murray acted on behalf of Ernest Alessio, agent for petitioner Billy S. Rowland. So we'll do that one first and then proceed with the next four.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We apologize to people waiting, and we did not anticipate that type of response or that type of crowd regarding our ditches, so we apologize. Garrett, Mr. Murray?
Mr. Chairman, my name is Garrett Murray. My address is 120 East Avenue, Elyria. And I represent Billy S. Rowland and Billy S. Rowland as trustee of the Billy S. Rowland Trust, dated April 19, 1990. I'm here today regarding the annexation of 58.32 acres to the city of Elyria from the township of Elyria. As you may be aware, I'm sure you are, the city of Elyria and the trustees of Elyria Township have been working for some time and have agreed upon a plan which would create a joint economic development district and a community economic development area, which would help facilitate the economic and residential development in the township. So as part of that plan, my client, the city of Elyria, and the township trustees of Elyria have agreed that my client would be permitted by the city of Elyria to connect to the sanitary sewer system of Elyria and the water system upon the signing of the agreements. And if the JED contract is approved by the Elyria Township electors in the November 2002 election, and my client's 58-some acres would remain in Elyria Township, and my client would withdraw the annexation petition, which is pending. If the JED contract is not approved in the November 2002 election by the Elyria Township electors, then the 58 acres will be annexed to the city of Elyria without objection from the Elyria Township trustees. In any event, my client will be permitted to connect to the city of Elyria sanitary sewer system and the water system. Therefore, it's been agreed by the parties, and we respectfully request that the annexation hearing set for today be continued until after the November 2002 election. And in the event the JED contract is not approved, that the board then set the annexation hearing at the immediately or as soon thereafter as is reasonably possible.
Do you have a date?
Well, I looked on my book, and November 7th is the first Thursday after the election, and of course November 13th would be next.
Do you want to wait for the vote to be certified?
Yes. So
sometimes that takes a little longer.
So I was thinking then maybe November 13th.
Some elections, as some of us up here know, are real close. It might be December 1st.
Okay, well.
So November 14th would be the following Thursday.
What is the first meeting in December?
In December?
Would that be?
Is December 5th.
Oh, yeah, but when is the conference? We would be back.
I think it is that week. I don't have that written down as of yet.
Well, let's go with
Let's
go with the 14th. I'll just go with the
Mr. Murray, for the public's sake, can you explain the JED? I'm sure there are a lot of people that don't understand what a JED is.
I think the person that has a lot to do with this and the success of this is Mr. Ennis.
Okay, Mr. Ennis, would you explain
Commissioner,
it?
if I could, just to kind of clarify what's happening. Obviously, this is one of these annexations in which access to sewers is a critical element. As part of the JED agreement that's coming through, this particular property would have access to sewers without the need to annex if the JED goes through. So the request to continue this is an effort to let the JED go through, in which case the annexation would become moot. So that's why we're continuing it. If the JED does not go through, the sewer access by annexing to Elyria would continue to be necessary. I've clipped up, with the assistance of Mr. Twining, a map of the proposed JED area.
Aren't you for sure, Jerry? He's putting the camera on. Go show
it. What we have here is a diagram of the areas. All the areas that are in color, other than the white and the blue, are areas in the township that would be included in either what we call the JED, which is a commercial industrial area, or a CETA, which would cover residential areas. And basically what would happen is all those areas would be allowed to have sewer access without annexation. And as indicated in the newspaper and the release that was done jointly between the city and the township Monday night, wasn't it? We would be implementing the building code of the city. The township would be looking to do some rezoning and some planning, and it's, in my opinion, the most advanced thinking cooperative effort between the township and the county that I've seen since I've been here. I think this is a truly historic document, and I think it has the potential to set a framework for cooperative efforts between cities and townships that we have never seen in this county. So obviously, I'm very enthusiastic about it.
Would there be a sharing of revenue?
Yes, there will be.
I think that's what they need to know, too.
The areas in blue, now some of these areas are part of the annexations that you're going to be hearing a little bit later on. Those are areas that are not to be included. They will not be getting sewers unless they annex. However, those are not, most of those areas are still remaining in the township for the time being. So that's just a real quick down and dirty idea of what we're doing here. But all the annexations we are doing this morning are impacted upon what's happening with this annexation. But in the case of this particular property, Mr. Rowland's property would be included in the Jarrett area, and if this all is passed by the township in November, they will be getting the sewers, and therefore the annexation would no longer become necessary if that happens. Obviously, if it's voted down, then the need for the sewers would remain, right.
Okay, I'd like to commend you on working with the two areas in this document. This is something that Jerry's put a lot of hours in, and I appreciate your efforts.
Well, it's you know, when the Community Development Department did the county land use plan, and I know Mr. Kish participated in that, one thing we heard over and over and over, no matter where you came from, was residents wanted to see governmental entities work together. That's what you heard over and over and over. And my praise for the city officials of Elyria in coming forth and doing this, and the township officials for working together, and the commissioners for supporting this. Again, I can't tell you how enthusiastic I am. This is, I'll just repeat it over. You're going to hear it 100 times between now and November. I think this is a truly historic agreement for Lorain County, and my appreciation and praise for all the officials of those communities, and I also want to commend all the landowners that are part of these annexations, and their attorneys, believe it or not. If they were not so cooperative and patient in allowing us the time to work this out, that's another thing that could not come together. But you know, in meeting with the city officials, we shared information, and it was amazing how many times they said, "Oh, you're doing that in the township," or the township would say, "You're doing it in the city, and that's a good idea." It's amazing what good ideas come from communication. And again, my appreciation to all the attorneys and landowners here who were patient enough to let us work this out.
Thank you, Jerry.
I would like to ask if there's anyone here that has any questions in regard to the JED or the CETA. I mean, is it perfectly clear what that is? Okay.
Chairman,
thank you.
I'd like to ask the clerk what the first meeting in December is.
It's December 5th.
And do we have anything at this time?
Not at this time, no.
Mr. Murray, would December the 5th at a time be okay to continue this hearing to?
Yes, it would.
Thank you. I will so move
10:30?
Yeah.
that this hearing be continued until 10:30 on Thursday, December the 5th.
Second.
Discussion? Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
I'd also like to thank Mr. Murray.
Thank you.
This is a wonderful thing for Lorain County. and Jerry, and everybody else is up.
Okay.
One down.
Madam Clerk? Number 2.
The next one is the proposed annexation of 37.39 acres from Elyria Township to the City of Elyria, MR Properties. Attorney John Keys Walker is the agent.
Good morning, John.
Good morning. My name is John Keys Walker. I'm the agent for the petitioner, MR Properties, in this annexation. It's an Ohio corporation. My address is 5333 Meadow Lane Court, Elyria. MR Properties is the sole owner of the property sought to be annexed from Elyria Township to the City of Elyria. This property, again, we've been sitting on the sidelines while Mr. Innes has worked his magic on this, I should say, in related areas. But as I understand it, this is not one that is specifically impacted by the JED. For that reason, we're going to ask to go forward with it. It is bounded on the north by State Route 113, on the south by Railroad, west by Murray Ridge Road. It is contiguous and adjacent to the City of Elyria on the east and south. We've submitted material today to the clerk concerning the formal legal requirements for the annexation. We believe the petition contains all the material required by the statute. Notice by publication in the Chronicle Telegram is, for a period of 4 weeks has occurred, and a certification of that notice has been submitted to the clerk. The City of Elyria, to which the annexation has been sought, has complied with the statute, advising that they are going to provide customary police, fire, water, sanitary, sewer, and garbage collection services to the subject property. We believe the territory to be annexed at 37 and a fraction acres is not unreasonably large. The map provided is accurate. It does not contain any an unusual configuration if the annexation occurs. The general good of the territory to be annexed will be served by a number of services that are available, including sanitary sewer service. We'll have police service instead of sheriff in the township, and a full-time fire service instead of a volunteer department. Unless there are questions, we'd submit the material that's been provided to the clerk, and in the interest of brevity and the long haul that the commissioners have had this morning, unless there are questions, that ends our presentation.
Do you have any questions?
There's none.
Any questions?
My question is to Mr. Innes. Do we continue this or close this hearing? What is your recommendation on that?
Well, we go through our usual process to see if the township wants to make any comments,
okay,
and if any residents want to make any comments.
Okay. Anybody from the township here would like to speak?
William Holtzman, trustee for Elyria Township. The Board of Trustees are pleased with the this proposed agreement that Jerry spoke of, and we think this is a win-win situation for the township that's going to allow us to develop a core of our township and create some new subdivisions and commercial developments within the township. And there's certain areas that of the township that are indicated in blue, which this petition that's before you is included in, that we want to keep as township as long as those property owners would like to stay in the township. However, we're not going to speak in opposition of this case and others that are within the blue area in the spirit of cooperation in creating this agreement. So we certainly don't want to lose any properties, but we're not going to speak in opposition of this.
Are you speaking on behalf of yourself or all the trustees?
The township.
Okay, thank you. Is there any people that are in favor of this annexation wanting to give any testimony? Anybody who is in opposition? Okay, then what's the pleasure of the board?
Chairman, I move the hearing be closed.
Second. Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy? Aye. Mr. Moore?
Aye. Do we need to schedule a date on this, or is it just 90 days from today?
No, all the documents regarding the JED are in draft form and being formalized, and I indicated to the various property owners that the commissioners would like to see those in final form before they actually go forward with the vote. So at this point in time, we would just indicate that as soon as we get the final details on this wrapped up, then we can proceed with the vote at that point.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ready for the next one?
Continued hearing on the proposed annexation of 21.32 acres from Elyria Township to the City of Elyria, which is Lake Avenue Properties. Attorney John Keys Walker, the agent on that one.
And before we go on, shouldn't we administer the oath? We should go ahead.
What you said in the last one.
That's right, yes.
You swear that the statements that you shall give shall be the truth as you should act, under God or the penalty of law for.
I do.
Should have anybody else going to be speaking on this too? Should have stood up. Is anybody else going to be speaking on this? Okay, thanks. Sorry. Go ahead, John.
Obviously, I consider myself under oath on the last one as well.
Yes.
My name again is John Keys Walker. The same information applies. I represent the petitioner Lake Avenue Properties, in this instance, an Ohio corporation, and the sole owner of the territory sought to be annexed, which is 2.21 acres, bounded on the north by land owned by Lake Avenue Properties, as well as on the east, on the west bounded by Lake Avenue, and on the south by some property owned by Mary Lou Varndell and then the Ohio Turnpike. The land is contiguous and adjacent to the city of Elyria, to which it is sought to be annexed on both the north and east side. It's to be annexed from Elyria Township. It will square off what is a somewhat awkward boundary for the city of Elyria. Again, we believe the petition contains all the matter required by the statute. We have submitted to the clerk a packet of materials to show compliance with the other requirements, including notice by publication in the Chronicle Telegram for 4 weeks as required. The city of Elyria has complied with the requirement and has adopted legislation that customary police, fire, water, sanitary, sewer, and garbage collection services will be provided to the territory sought to be annexed. At 2+ acres, the property is not an unusually large parcel. We believe the map is accurate and the general good of the territory will be served by having the annexation occur with police service, full-time fire service, and sanitary sewer service provided. I believe the implication of the agreement between the city of Elyria and the township applies in the same manner as with the previous hearing. And again, we're prepared to wait on this one, as with the previous hearing, until that agreement goes through. And if the commissioners have no questions, I will conclude my presentation.
Commissioner Vacy?
I have none.
Commissioner
My
Blair?
only question is, the acreage is 21.32 acres, is that correct?
It is incorrect. It is actually 2.21 acres.
Well,
2.2.
You're in the wrong place. About that.
It was submitted as 21.32, but since we haven't had an actual hearing to hear testimony, we could not actually say it was the 2.21 acres.
So what is it again, please, John?
It is 2.21 acres.
Thank you. I thought I heard different figures.
Yes.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, so now it can be changed.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, anybody from the township would like to speak? Should say trustees.
William Holtzman again. The Board of Trustees takes the same position that we will not speak in opposition of this hearing today.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Is there anybody present in favor of this annexation wanting to give testimony? Is there anybody in opposition wanting to make any testimony?
Mr. Chairman, I move this public hearing be closed.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Commissioners, again, I'd like to express my thanks to John Keyes Walker and his clients for their patience throughout this matter.
Continue hearing on the proposed annexation of 30.37 acres from Elyria Township to the City of Elyria, Church of the Open Door. Dr. Lehman is the agent.
Anybody wishing to give any testimony, could you please rise and Jerry can administer the oath?
Swear that the statement that you shall give, or affirm that the statement that you shall give shall be the truth, that you shall answer unto God, or under penalty of the law of perjury.
Yes, I do.
Commissioners, I would indicate that we've already had testimony, and that Attorney Longwell and Mr. Lehman have already stipulated to the basics, so I don't know if it's just a matter of any additional testimony they might want to give at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Dennis Lehman, and I live at 7851 North Murray Ridge Road, and representing Church of the Open Door. And as Attorney Ennis has said, we've already made our petitions and made our testimony. We really have no other, except as we've, as a township and the city has working on this agreement. I think it's a great idea. Unfortunately, I think we are outside of the agreement. We are in outside of the jet area. So, because of that fact, I would like to have this considered, and because we are not going to be involved with the jet area, we would like to have the annexation completed so we can have sewers also. So that would be my testimony for today.
Thank you. Any questions, Commissioner?
No.
Nancy? Any questions?
I'm sure you heard the earlier conversation about the need for a detention basin someplace.
Yes.
Suppose there's any possibility that there might be some area, probably not as large as what was first discussed, that you might be able to assist the county with? Perhaps one of your ball fields that...
Part of the thought might be is, you know, it might be considered a smaller area, and also if we shared it with some of the other properties, maybe all of it was on our property. The whole detention basin was located on our property. We're always willing to negotiate and talk with somebody, but when they presented it, when the county presented it, they presented it as over 6 acres, right, kind of in a nice section of our property.
Smack dab in the middle of where you want to be.
So we said we can't go along with that, but you know, to put part of it on the property on the other side of the ditch and part of it on our side of the ditch, who knows? We can probably maybe work something out.
Thank you for your
Is there any trustees that would wish to comment regarding this annexation?
William Holtzman, Elyria Township Trustees. We certainly are disappointed to lose the Church of the Open Door. However, in light of the agreement, we're not going to speak in opposition of this hearing as well.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present in favor of this annexation that would like to speak? Anyone in opposition wanting to speak?
Mr. Chairman, I move the hearing be closed.
Second.
Discussion. Ms. Blair?
Aye.
Ms. Vacy?
Aye.
Mr. Moore?
Aye.
Once more, I'd like to extend my appreciation to Attorney Longwell and Church of the Open Door for their cooperation throughout this.
Thank you.
The proposed annexation of 25.89 acres from Elyria Township to the City of Elyria, Forth Over and Sons. Attorney Eric Severs is the agent.
Okay, Jerry, is anybody here willing to talk regarding the annexation? Could you please rise and raise your right hand so Jerry could administer the oath?
Each of you swear or affirm the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, that you shall answer unto God or under penalty of the law of perjury.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Or is it afternoon already? I think it might be. My name is Eric Severs, and I'm the agent for the petitioners in this matter. My office is located at 5 South Main Street in Oberlin. The petitioners are Forth Over and Sons, Inc., an Ohio corporation, and Andrew and Julia Kirchmar. They are prepared to annex 2 parcels of undeveloped land from Elyria Township to the City of Elyria. Total acreage involved is 25.89 acres. The purpose of the annexation is to allow Forth Over and Sons, Inc., who are custom home builders, to develop the property as a residential subdivision. I have with me today both Leroy Forthover, who is the founder of Forthover & Sons, and his son Bill, who is active in the business. And they are here later on to answer any questions that you may have. I want to draw your attention to the easel, the diagram on the easel. This depicts the land involved, which is outlined in yellow. This is Route 113 at the top, and at the right-hand side of the map is West Ridge Road. In green on the map, the dotted line is the Elyria Corporation, current Elyria Corporation limit. It comprises, as I said, 2 parcels of real estate. I have provided to the clerk and also to the commissioners and Mr. Innes 3 pages, Exhibit A, B, and C, which I will like entered into the record at the close of the hearing. Exhibit A is simply a timeline of filings that I have made on behalf of my clients in accordance with the statute. I'm not going to speak to that. Exhibit B is an outline of the requirements, the findings that the commissioners need to find, that is the evidence that has to be presented under Revised Code 709.033. I'm going to briefly go through this because I know it's afternoon already, as I indicated. The petition contains all matter required by Section 709.02. It does. That is, there is a full description and accurate map of the territory sought to be annexed. There is a statement of the number of owners of the real estate in the territory to be annexed, and it indicates the name of the person to act as agent of the petitioners. Part B of the statute indicates that notice must be required once a week for 4 consecutive weeks in a newspaper of general circulation in the county. That was done. It was published in the Elyria Chronicle-Telegram, February 18th, 25th, March 4th, and March 11th, and there was a affidavit of the publisher filed with the clerk. Subsection C indicates that the persons whose names are subscribed to the petition are the owners of the real estate located in the territory and comprise a majority of the owners of that real estate. As indicated, there are 2 owners of the real estate, and all have signed the petition. Subsection D indicates that the municipal corporation to which the territory is requested to be annexed must pass an ordinance indicating what services will be provided if the annexation is approved. The City of Elyria did that on February 19th, ordinance number 2002-35. A certified copy of that ordinance has been filed with your clerk. Subsection E indicated that the territory included in the petition is not unreasonably large, the map or plat is accurate, and the general good of the territory sought to be annexed will be served if the petition is granted. The amount of acreage is not unreasonably large on its face, being only 25.89 acres. The map has been certified by the county engineer to accurately follow the legal description of the territory proposed for annexation. We feel the general good of the area will be served as a result of the annexation in that we will receive municipal